How to fix judicial corruption in our country. Before I start, I want to say thank you for everyone that supports this channel. I have met many kind and intelligent people on here. I am hopeful with your support we can meet with President Trump to abolish guardianship laws, save lives, save our families, and restore the civil rights to millions of people in guardianships throughout this country. We also need jail time for these judges, attorneys, guardians, and doctors that murdered our parents. Once we do put some of these people in jail, it'll stop quick. Restitution. 10 times the amount that was stolen from our families. But how much do you put on my mother's life? How much is her life worth? Isolating my mom, drugging her up on Seroquel, and intentionally causing her to have electrical conductivity disturbance in the heart and sudden cardiac death. This is murder. Life imprisonment, I'd rather see death row, but this is what they're doing. And until we start prosecuting these judges, this will continue. I feel if we get a meeting with President Trump, he will support our fight for justice and sign off on all the requests, executive orders. Remember his speech, never give up. That was really heartfelt. The recent news around the world is Christians are being killed in the Congo, Mozambique, 50 other countries, but they're being killed right here in the United States. But we get no media support for that. That shows that the media is controlled. How do we fix all these problems? Well, we know I went to my congressmen, I went to my senators, they would do nothing. I went to Congressman Mario Diaz-Balart. He said, I'm not a plumber. I can't fix your plumbing. Leave. I said, they're going to kill my mother. He said, leave. I went to Congressman Lincoln Diaz-Balart, his brother, with my mom. And we filled out a report for Lincoln to please help my mother. And Lincoln did nothing. I went to Senator Marco Rubio. Senator Marco Rubio, we met at a Cuban restaurant at a certain time. And as soon as I had 2 other victims there, as soon as we sat down, 2 minutes later, he said, I got to go. My father's sick. We went to his office. They said, we're not going to change anything. We're happy the way the guardianship program is being run. I met Senator Rick Scott. Senator Rick Scott was the governor of Florida, and now he's a senator. I showed him the newspaper article of my mother, how she was murdered. He said she was very beautiful. Of course, I'll meet with you. Then when I called the number, they refused to give me an appointment to meet with him. Ashley Moody was the Florida Attorney General. And when she was the Florida Attorney General, she's now a senator. She took Marco Rubio's place. But when she was Florida Attorney General, I met her at a meeting in Tampa. I said, why are you protecting these dirty judges? Because I sued these judges. Why are you protecting these dirty judges? She says, that's my job. I said, well, who protects the American people? She said, go hire an attorney. That's the mindset. That is the mindset of these people. Bring the money in. Come on, bring the money in. We want it. Give us more, because we're never going to win this way. Recently, we had 2 senators, Kirsten Gillibrand and Katie Bratt of Alabama. Gillibrand is from New York. They wrote something about protecting seniors from financial crimes. They failed to put in guardianship, where they're stealing $3 trillion a year. So I called, I wrote letters to them. They never responded. They refused my phone calls. Judicial corruption. Enhancing accountability and oversight, forget it. Doesn't work. Each judge protects another judge. You could file a complaint, another judge is going to look at it and throw it in the garbage. It's all part of the fraternity. How to stop judicial corruption? No more Florida bar, Alabama bar, Georgia bar, no these bar associations, okay? We're going to seize the assets from these bar associations. It goes into a special fund for the victims. All lawyers must be licensed by the federal government if they're going to practice law. They have to be licensed by the federal government. Why federal? Because the FBI is federal. We want to make all these crimes federal, okay? They are, but we want to make all these crimes federal. So the FBI can arrest these judges. Everything is going to be federal. State, a lot of corruption in the state. So no more bar associations. I dealt with them, and many of them have. They're as corrupt as the day is long. But we seize all the assets, just like they did our parents. Seize the assets, we seize the assets from them. Okay? That goes into a victim for victims. I will request the position that we have to have certain positions that people like us know what goes on in guardianship cases. And I will offer my assistance to Trump if I meet with him about having a task force, part of the FBI, being part of the FBI task force, even if I could train these FBI agents or whatnot. And then we get somebody from the family court and they can speak to the FBI and teach them, or they could be a part of the FBI. Okay, we could be a part of the FBI and work in the task force. Somebody from foreclosure courts, is an expert in foreclosure courts, We have 38,000 FBI agents. When is the last time that you heard a judge was arrested? All we should have to do is show them the medical reports that my mother was competent. Show them the fraud that took part in the case. All she has to do is call the judge and says, freeze, don't do anything more in this case. And then she can go and arrest them. Attorneys, the guardians, and everything. Okay? They're going to say, well, what about the appellate court? I went to the appellate court. Found out that the attorney that was representing my mom was also representing the guardian of my mom at the same time in 5 other cases. The appellate court rule per curiam means we're not going to change anything. That also has to have an executive order to any time that you appeal, you should get, you're paying $5,000 or $10,000 for appeal, you should get a response why they're ruling against you. No more per curiams. Now, we have to meet with Trump and educate him because many of us didn't know about what's going on in our country, okay? Many of us didn't know. So we can't assume that he knows that all this corruption is going on. He got a taste of it when he was running for president, but he's Trump. We don't have his money. We don't have his resources. Long term, how do we fix these problems? We get rid of all these congressmen and senators that are lawyers. Get rid of them all. What is our country made of? What is a representative of this country? I don't walk out my door and see lawyers all day. I see electricians. I see plumbers. I see college professors. I see businessmen that own their stores, factory workers. I see school teachers. Those are the representatives of our country. Those are the people that should be running our country, not lawyers. Not lawyers. This is why we're in this situation in the first place. Okay? Because lawyers should have made laws 45 years ago to stop these crimes, but they did nothing because they're part of this fraternity. Now, this is the last thing I'm going to tell you, which is very important. If you're involved in guardianship right now, okay, we had a case. I was called on the phone. And the person said, my mother was just put in a guardianship. What do I do? She was in New York. I said, where's your mother? She's standing right alongside of me. I says, well, let me ask you a question. Do you have any family members that live outside the state of New York? She said, yes, my boyfriend. Okay. I said, pack your mom's bags, get her out of the house within an hour, 45 minutes or an hour. Because you don't know if the police are going to arrive, take her to a nursing home. She did. She took her mother, got her out of the house, packed her bags. She went and lived with her boyfriend. They can't come and get her. It's across state line. She saved her mother's life. She saved her mother's life. I know another person that did it in California. She came to Boca Raton, Florida. She was going to take her father to lunch. She had a plane ticket for her father, put him on a plane, took him back to California. They can't do anything. This is what has to be done if you want to save your parents' life. Take them, protect them. That's your right. Don't allow them to be murdered. Thank you for watching. I will bring you more videos in the near future. Thank you. Good day.